You're looking live there on the right of your screen at the Soyuz MS-28 spacecraft attached to the Roscosmos module on the Earth-facing side of the Russian segment of the International Space Station. On board that spacecraft are 3 crew members of the Expedition 74 crew, NASA's Chris Williams and Roscosmos cosmonauts Sergey Kud-Sverchkov and Sergei Mikaev. They are suited up and ready to undock from the space station in about 32 minutes from now to begin the ride home and the completion of their 241-day mission. Good morning from Mission Control Houston in the International Space Station Flight Control Room at NASA's Johnson Space Center. I'm Ken Appel with NASA Communications. Teams across the world are working in tandem and ready for the departure of Williams, Kud-Sverchkov, and Mikaev from the International Space Station at 2:03 a.m. Central, 3:03 a.m. Eastern. When the Soyuz lands on the steppe of Kazakhstan, it'll be 5:25 a.m. Central Time here in Houston this morning and 3:25 p.m. in the afternoon at the landing site there in Kazakhstan. All Soyuz systems are reported to be in great shape with vestibule leak checks complete. The crew is suited up in their Sokol launch and entry suits with leak checks nominal on those, and the Roscosmos hooks are open. We are just under 30 minutes until the undock command is issued. Rosaviatsa search and recovery forces with NASA personnel support embedded are en route to the interim staging site of Zhezhezgan, which is 91 miles to the northwest of the landing site itself. Here's a look at the Russian flight control team in the Russian Mission Control Center in Koryov outside of Moscow. This team is serving as the primary control, working today's undocking, entry, and landing operations of the Soyuz vehicle.
There is no frame time, right?
And currently here in Houston in the International Space Station Flight Control Room is the Orbit 1 team of flight controllers being led by Flight Director Anthony Varia. His role today is to lead and work closely with his team of flight controllers on the ground as they work in tandem with that team of Russian flight controllers we just showed you half a world away. Mission Control Houston operates 24/7, 365 days a year with 3 shifts per day known as orbits. And again, this is the Orbit 1 team of flight controllers, and part of that team is today's CAPCOM, or capsule communicator. As you just saw to Anthony Varia's right is NASA astronaut Anne McClain. She returned from the International Space Station just 2 weeks shy of a year ago after spending 148 days as part of Expeditions 72 and 73. Her role today as Capcom serves as the primary communication between Mission Control and the crew on board station. You may hear McClain's voice during today's operation, communicating with the crew currently aboard station. We are currently just about 27 minutes away from the issuance of the undocking command, and this command opens up the hooks holding the Soyuz MS-28 spacecraft to the Roscosmos module it is currently docked to. A minute and a half after that undocking command is issued, the hooks will open and springs on both sides of the docking interface will push off against one another, beginning the spacecraft's journey home, carrying 3 crew members back to Earth after nearly 8 months. Williams, Kud-Sverchkov, and Mikaev climbed aboard their Soyuz spacecraft a few hours ago, where they donned their Sokol launch and entry suits and conducted leak checks on their side of the Soyuz docking interface. Let's take a look at the replay of the hatch closure that separated the departing trio of Williams, Kud-Sverchkov, and Mikaev from the rest of the station crew. About 3 hours ago, the departing trio said their farewells to the 7 remaining crew members aboard the International Space Station. Shortly after the final hugs and handshakes were exchanged, the 3 crew members floated inside of the Soyuz. The hatch then closed on the Rosviet side, followed by the closing of the Soyuz hatch at 10:45 p.m. Central, 11:45 p.m. Eastern. You see here on a screen the replay of a wipe down being done on the circumference of the hatchway from Rosviet to the Soyuz, making sure no foreign object debris was present before the hatch was closed. This is to provide a clean interface for the leak checks that occurred between about 2.5 to 3 hours ago. Those leak checks resulted in an airtight seal between the 2 vehicles. The vestibule is depressurized, setting the stage for the undocking of Soyuz from Rosviet, coming up here within minutes. An update on the Rosaviatsa search and recovery forces with NASA personnel support embedded. They have arrived to the interim staging site of Zhezkazgan, which is 91 miles to the northwest of the actual landing site itself. The command to begin the initiation of the opening of the hooks on the Soyuz side is now just 24 minutes away. A mission of 3,856 orbits, more than 102 million statute miles, NASA's Chris Williams and Roscosmos cosmonauts Sergey Kud-Sverchkov and Sergei Mikaev are wrapping up 241 days in space. The flight marked the first mission for NASA astronaut Chris Williams and Roscosmos cosmonaut Sergei Mikaev. And this was Sergey Kud-Sverchkov's second long-duration space flight, now wrapping up this 241-day mission, bringing his total accumulated time in space to 426 days. The crew, which launched and arrived at the space station on November 27th last year, has seen the arrival of 6 visiting vehicles and the departure of 8. And between this trio, they supported 3 spacewalks during their nearly 8-month mission aboard the station. When Soyuz lands later today on the steppe of Kazakhstan, it'll be 5:25 a.m. Central here in Houston this morning and 3:25 p.m. in the afternoon at the landing site there in Kazakhstan. This view shows a pair of Soyuz vehicles, and on the right is MS-28, where Williams, Kud-Sverchkov, and Mikaev are located. And to the left, docked to the Prishal module on the Russian segment of the station, is the newly arrived Soyuz MS-29 spacecraft that brought NASA astronaut Emil Menin and Roscosmos cosmonauts Pyotr Dubrov and Anna Kikina to the space station last week on July 14th. Among all the technical and hardware preparation for today's departure, one important item on the checklist was handing over command. Yesterday, Sergey Kud-Sverchkov, who has served as commander of the orbiting laboratory since taking over from NASA astronaut Mike Fink in January, transferred command to NASA astronaut Jessica Meir. Here's a replay of that change of command ceremony.
Well, it's been a wonderful 8 months on board the International Space Station, and they were not easy. They were not way too difficult, but we definitely had a lot of experience that I'm sure is very important for further space exploration. So many cargo vehicles, dockings, payloads, signs, EVAs are behind, and I would deeply appreciate the help and participation of all corporation, all partners around the world in Europe, Japan, United States, and Russia, and but I think the most important thing is that we been working as a family, as a team, and I want to thank the crew of Expedition 74, including Crew 11 and of course crewmates that are now here on board the station. And yeah, the successful mission couldn't be possible without support, knowledge, dedication, and I want to thank everyone in this module for this mission. So with these words, I want to pass the commanding of the station to my colleague and really good person, Jessica Meir.
Thank you so much, Sergei, for your steadfast leadership during this part of Expedition 74. You have definitely set a tone that united everyone on board, not only as colleagues, but as friends on a shared adventure. Accepting this symbolic key is a profound honor, and it means even more to me that it is coming from you. Ogromное спасибо, мой друг. When we look down at Mother Earth, we see our shared home. But when we look around this station, we see the real engine behind that view, our team. We astronauts get to be up here every day, but every moment of each day, we are keenly aware that we are only here because thousands of people in control centers, back rooms, or at their desks around the globe are waking up every day to set the scene for us. To the rest of our exceptional team who is on the ground, including, of course, our beloved families, thank you for keeping us safe, keeping us moving, and keeping us connected. This mission is ours as much as this mission is yours as much as it is ours. To me, leadership in this extreme environment is about empowering this team. It is about ensuring every single person on this crew has the space, the tools, and the support to be at their absolute best. It means practicing what we call good expeditionary skills, taking care of the station, taking care of each other, and stepping up as both a leader and a dedicated follower when the situation demands it. Our primary goal, without question, is to execute our mission safely, efficiently, and successfully. But science and station maintenance are only part of the legacy that we leave behind. My personal, ultimate goal for all of us is that when our time up here is done and we feel the pull of gravity once again, we don't just return as successful colleagues, but as even better friends than we are today. Looking around at Sergey, and Chris, as they prepare to depart, I am all smiles knowing that we have accomplished that goal thus far. Thank you so much for your hard work and dedication to station, your stimulating conversations and camaraderie, and of course, your magnificent space cakes. You will be missed. We are wishing you a wonderful journey back to planet Earth. I ja желаю вам м'якої посадки.
Thank you so much.
We will do our best to maintain the positive momentum that you imparted. For those of us remaining up here, let's look out for one another, keep laughing, and continue pushing the boundaries of human discovery. Thank you, and welcome to Expedition 75. This mission belongs to all of us.
This is Mission Control Houston, and if you're just joining us, we are covering the undocking of the Soyuz MS-28 spacecraft carrying NASA astronaut Chris Williams and Roscosmos cosmonauts Sergey Kud-Sverchkov and Sergei Mikaev. We're about 14 minutes away until the undocking command is issued. All Soyuz systems are nominal, and all teams across the world have pulled go for undocking. Here's a look at the remaining 7 crew members in this Expedition 75 crew portrait. From left to right are NASA astronauts Jessica Mir and Anil Menon, Roscosmos cosmonauts Pyotr Dubrov, Andrei Fedyaev, and Anna Kikina. Next is Jack Hathaway of NASA, and then Sophie Adano of the European Space Agency there on the right. NASA astronaut Jessica Mir on the left took over command of the station from Sergei Kud-Sverchkov yesterday morning. The actual demarcation point for the end of Expedition 74 and the start of Expedition 75 will come at the time of physical separation between the two vehicles here just about 15 minutes from now. At the time of undocking, the Soyuz will begin to push away from the International Space Station by means of 2 separation burns. 3 minutes after physical separation, there will be a first of 2 separation burns. That's an 8-second burn of the Soyuz engines, followed a minute and 20 seconds later by a 15-second separation 2 burn that'll accelerate the Soyuz away from the International Space Station's Rossviet module. Then to preview what's ahead on the crew's journey home today, undocking and those separation burns are just the beginning. A bit later this morning, once Soyuz reaches a distance of 41 kilometers away from station, the spacecraft's deorbit burn will begin. This 4-minute and 42-second deorbit burn serves as a braking maneuver to slow Soyuz down, allowing it to drop out of orbit for entry into Earth's atmosphere.
Copy, working page 47.
After deorbit burn, pyrotechnics will separate the 3 sections of Soyuz, the crew, and of course strapped into their seats in the descent module with the heat shield in the direction of travel to repel temperatures that'll build up to about 2,500 degrees Fahrenheit. The parachute deployment sequence comes with 2 pilot parachutes, a drogue chute followed by the main chute that'll enable the Soyuz to slow down and descend to a landing with the soft landing engines firing just a moment before touchdown. Landing is scheduled to take place on the steppe of Kazakhstan, 91 miles southeast of the town of Zhezkazgan at 5:25 a.m. Central this morning, and that's 3:25 p.m. in the afternoon at the landing site.
List M transmitter is on. Display plus TV command arm. Command sent. We transition to the approach display, and there is a TV data on VECO. Okay, copy.
This view shows a pair of Soyuz vehicles, and on the right is MS-28, where Williams, Kud-Sverchkov, and Mikaev are located. And there on the left of the screen, docked to the Prishal module on the Russian segment of the station, is the newly arrived Soyuz MS-29 spacecraft that brought NASA astronaut Neil Menon and Roscosmos cosmonauts Pyotr Dubrov and Anna Kikina to the space station last week on July 14th. We are just about 2.5 minutes away from the issuance of the undocking command, and the International Space Station is flying 260 miles over India.
Go ahead on space to ground 1.
Можно выполнять шаги 7 и 8, включение режимов записи и контроля изображения. Тебе для информации, такое переключение на прием ТВ-информации с корабля будет 54 минуты.
The switch to the video streaming from the vehicle will start at hour 54 minutes.
Да, верно.
Okay. Steps 7 and 8 to be default. Concur.
Copy.
As we prepare for the issuance of the undocking command just about 8 minutes from now, all preparations have gone very smoothly. Once the undocking command occurs, a minute and a half later, the physical separation will take place, which is scheduled at 2:03 a.m. Central, 3:03 a.m. Eastern. 3 minutes later, this will be the first of 2 separation burns, an 8-second burn of the Soyuz engines, followed a minute and 20 seconds later by a 15-second separation 2 burn that will accelerate the Soyuz away from the International Space Station's Rossviet module.
Four, three.
Here's a good look at the Soyuz MS-28 spacecraft on your right that you see on the screen.
0919.
At the top there is the instrumentation and propulsion module, the white section that also accommodates the solar arrays.
1213, eliminate.
At the very bottom of your screen, that section of the orbiting module. And in the middle, that's where the crew is strapped in, the descent module, with Kud-Sverchkov in the center seat. Sergei Mikaev to his right.
You can turn on TV.
Sergey Mikaev to his left and Chris Williams to his right.
Round 1.
TV
7 and 8
approach.
are complete. Copy.
Infrared horizon sensor inhibits. Confirmed? The mode is rotation, KDO parameter is nominal. Copy. Floodlight is on.
Here's a view from the cross-haired external engineering camera on the Soyuz spacecraft. In the lower left-hand corner, you'll see two values. The upper of the two shows the distance between Soyuz and the International Space Station.
At 09:55.
Then at the bottom, that's the rate of closure, the relative speed Soyuz is departing the space station.
Recording mode on both screens is active. Waiting for the undock.
Отличной посадки, будем ждать их дома.
Sending our regards to the guys, and we'll be waiting for them on the ground.
Unintelligible.
Есть.
Okay, TV.
We are just under 5 minutes away from the undocking command being issued.
D2, combined power not illuminated, and backup. S16 sent, not illuminated. Okay.
We are currently 4 minutes away from the issuance of the undocking command, and this command opens the hooks holding the Soyuz MS-28 spacecraft to the Rosviet module it's currently docked to. A minute and a half after that, the undocking command is issued and the hooks will open. Springs on both sides of the docking interface will push off against one another, beginning the spacecraft's journey home. All Soyuz systems reported to be in great shape, with vestibule leak checks complete. The crew is suited up in their Sokol launch and entry suits, with leak checks nominal on those, and the Rosviet hooks are open. We are just 3 minutes away until the undock command is issued.
Voyage Moscow. VHF. Inaudible.
Слышу вас хорошо.
Copy loud and clear. What is on info 1?
This is Mission Control Houston, and if you're just joining us, we are covering the undocking of the Soyuz MS-28 spacecraft carrying NASA astronaut Chris Williams and Roscosmos cosmonauts Sergey Kud-Sverchkov and Sergei Mikaev. And we are just about 2 minutes until the undocking command is issued.
Before D7 command.
It will take 90 seconds for the Soyuz hooks to open and physical separation to occur. We are 1.5 minutes until the undocking command is issued. All station systems are go for undocking, and the Russian flight control team is receiving data from the Soyuz vehicle.
21. 20 seconds. 10. 5. 3, 2, 1.
1 minute until undocking command on time.
Command 10:00. I confirm D7 is illuminated for the internal transfer system SSVP. The probe for SM is retracted. Gas 17 executed. Mechanical connection and SSVP CS8 is not illuminated.
We are under 30 seconds away from the issuance of the undocking command.
Gas 17. Please make sure that you issue the command at the time set. Copy. We're standing by for 10 seconds. 10 seconds till we issue the command. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Sending the command to open.
The command has been issued and the Soyuz hooks are now driving open.
No longer illuminated. And
all systems on Soyuz and the International Space Station are a go as the process has begun for physical separation that'll be occurring in just about a moment from now.
Illuminated.
Hooks are continuing to drive and will stand by for physical separation.
Capture is no longer illuminated. 10:02:35. Separation is confirmed. 10:03:00 goes at 1.
Undocking confirmed at 2:03 a.m. Central, 3:03 a.m. Eastern, as Soyuz and the International Space Station flew 260 miles over northeast Mongolia. With Soyuz MS-28's departure, we mark the close of Expedition 74, and Expedition 75 is officially underway.
And verify that there is no FOD.
Back over to Soyuz, Williams, Kud-Sverchkov, and Mikaev are on their first leg of their trip back home.
System. Copy. And we do not see anything off nominal.
We are seconds away from the first separation burn that'll begin to accelerate the opening rate for the Soyuz from the station.
0700.
For filter on PEV transfer to...
Once again, physical separation occurred at 2:03 a.m. Central, 3:03 a.m. Eastern.
Доброе утро, тебя слышит Сергей Зенкин на связи. Даем УЗО на перевод КВД МИМ-1 ПК в положение закрыто. Сообщи, когда это сделаешь.
Please report when PEV of MRM to close the file. In work.
Here's a view from the cross-haired external engineering camera on the Soyuz spacecraft looking at the International Space Station. We are just under 1 minute away from that first separation burn.
Depot thrusters for departure. Activation confirmed.
Confirmation that Soyuz thrusters are now activated and the first burn is underway. That first 8-second burn is nominal and complete.
Copy.
And the first of the 2 separation burns was completed nominally. The Soyuz is now in its departure orientation. The roll maneuver is in progress.
The maneuver is complete.
Yeah, so it's set on special number 1. Go ahead.
Combined GSO confirmed.
I put MRM-1 Soyuz PV valve to closed position. Copy. Thank you for the report.
Soyuz is ready for second separation burn.
Depot thrusters activated.
The second separation burn of 15 seconds and duration is currently underway.
Импульс отработан штатный, есть просто конец временного цикла.
The second separation burn completed in good, and with that, Soyuz begins its departure away from the space station.
Sending the command.
V-18
10:07:50 is the time when V-17 command has been sent. Now continue to page 50. Copy. Monitor on the KSP left display. BDUS 1-1 is not illuminated, 1-2 not illuminated. Repress of the KDU thrusters is not illuminated. Dynamic mode inhibit confirmed. We are prepping A11 command. Command is ready. Send the command. Command sent. Depot K1 thruster selection confirmed.
This is Mission Control Houston. If you're just now joining us, we're covering the undocking of the Soyuz MS-28 spacecraft carrying NASA astronaut Chris Williams and Roscosmos cosmonauts Sergey Kud-Sverchkov and Sergei Mikaev. Undocking occurred at 2:03 a.m. Central, 3:03 a.m. Eastern.
Dmitry 8 command has been prepped. D8 command sent. Internal transfer system SSVP is off. D11 is also sent. Probe retracted. We are ready to send the command for the headlight. S18 command has been sent. The headlight is off. Floodlight is off.
You're hearing instructions through the interpreter being relayed to Sergey Kud-Sverchkov, the Soyuz commander in the center seat of the Soyuz descent module, and to his left is Sergei Mikaev and Chris Williams on his right.
Controller orient. And we sent the command and send 1020. So we have rotational hand controller orient.
These are post-docking procedures to place the Soyuz in position for its departure from station to its ultimate distance of 41 kilometers for the deorbit burn that's scheduled 2 hours and about 20 minutes from now.
Translational hand controller, unintelligible.
Контролируем параметры КДУ. Давление шар-баллона первого 170, второго 170, топливо 496.
496.
Принято. Готов отключить.
And I am ready to activate, to deactivate the video. Copy. Use the display and deactivate the TV video.
Подготовлена команда «Откол ТВ», формата ТВ.
TV off command is prepped. And sent.
This is Mission Control Houston, and once again, the Soyuz MS-28 spacecraft with NASA's Chris Williams and Roscosmos cosmonauts Sergey Kud-Sverchkov and Sergei Mikaev on board.
Now continue working.
They undocked from the orbiting laboratory at 2:03 a.m. Central, 3:03 a.m. Eastern, as the Soyuz and the International Space Station passed 260 miles over Magnolia.
We'll talk to you then. Well, we'll talk to you at 11:20, and we are going to page 54 at 11:20.
For Anna on close-out ops. Go ahead.
And we'll have all the settings
we completed
in place already. Anton,
you can proceed with steps 11.
Tell me.
Thank you.
What did we decide to do with the COM? We decided to have.
I understood that. I can proceed with steps 11.
Running
post completion
COM
step 10.
via EKTS.
That's correct.
It will have to be after the retrograde burn. It's between 12:40 and 12:55. That's when we're going to have our EKTS compass. Oh, we'll talk to you on the EKTS. So we'll stand by for you to come back at 11:20. 11:20.
МКФ, ответьте кречетом в канале УКВ. МКФ на связи. Как у вас там дела? Петр, желаю вам хорошего полета, экспедиции успешной. Ну и, конечно, будем следить за вами и ждать возвращения вовремя. Спасибо, кречеты. Вам тоже хорошей дороги домой. Мягкой, насколько это возможно, посадки. Ну и быстрой реабилитации, конечно.
Ребята, давайте хорошего полета домой.
До связи.
Хорошей посадки.
Guys, have a nice flight home and soft landing.
This is Mission Control Houston, and all of the hatch closure, pre-undocking preparations, and undocking went by the book. No issues are in work, and the Soyuz is now moving away from the station to its ultimate distance of 41 kilometers away from station to set up for the deorbit burn that is scheduled 2 hours and 16 minutes from now. The deorbit burn scheduled at 4:31 a.m. Central Time. It'll be 4 minutes and 42 seconds. This retrograde braking maneuver to slow the Soyuz down by 128 meters per second will allow it to drop out of orbit for descent back to Earth. In Kazakhstan, the members of the search and recovery team have arrived to the interim staging site, which is 91 miles to the northwest of the landing site itself. This is Mission Control Houston. The Soyuz MS-28 spacecraft will soon pass out of visual range of the external cameras you see here on the International Space Station. And as we just saw, the entry process begins with the undocking of Soyuz. That occurred a short time ago at 2:03 a.m. Central, 3:03 a.m. Eastern. The Soyuz is backing away to a distance of about 41 kilometers away from space station for its deorbit burn. The deorbit burn is a 4-minute, 42-second retrograde braking maneuver to slow the Soyuz down and allow it to drop out of Earth's orbit. Pyrotechnics will then separate the 3 sections of the Soyuz. Once the separation of the 3 sections of the Soyuz, the first major activity after that will be the command to open the chutes. First the drogue chutes, then the main. And then just a few seconds before touchdown, the soft landing thrusters will fire just 1 to 2 seconds above the ground. That is the final braking maneuver to soften the landing for the crew on board, and the Soyuz will be home. Landing is scheduled for 5:25 a.m. Central Time, which is 3:25 p.m. at the landing site in Kazakhstan. That landing site is about 91 miles to the southeast of the town of Zhezkazgan, where the Rosaviatsa search and recovery forces have arrived, and in a few hours will head to the airfield there to board Russian Mi-8 helicopters and make their way down to the landing site for the recovery of the crew. With Soyuz safely on its way from station for the final leg of the journey home, we'll sign off briefly while Soyuz continues moving away from station to its point of the deorbit burn, 41 kilometers away. We'll be back with that deorbit burn coverage, along with entry and landing of the Soyuz MS-28, beginning at 4:15 a.m. Central, 5:15 a.m. Eastern. That coverage will continue through the time the crew has landed, extracted from the Soyuz, and brought into the nearby medical tent. We'll be back with you in less than 2 hours from now for all of that activity, and in the meantime, Soyuz MS-28 is safely on the way to the point of deorbit burn to bring home Chris Williams, Sergey Kud-Sverchkov, and Sergei Mikaev. This is Mission Control Houston.